Welcome everyone to Superintendent's Corner. I'm Dr. David Clendening. Today we're here to talk about a very exciting new program that's coming at the high school called 10X for Students. We have Mrs. McCain who is sponsoring it, and she's going to talk a bit about what that's about. And we also have Abby Tatera and Nina Smith to talk about specifically their projects. So welcome to the show, everybody. We'll start with Mrs. McCain. Talk to us a little bit about the grant and how this idea came about.
All right, so I was asked to join the Student Innovation Project Committee, who was working on how to extend the 10X grant to students. And we looked at several different models, but chose to really kind of model what we were doing after what was going on with the Irvington Education Foundation in New York. And we worked with them closely to find out what their process was, and then with the grant from the Brannigan Education Foundation locally, we were able to add those two things together and come up with what we thought was a really good process that took students through the design thinking process with their innovative ideas. So students would apply having an idea that they wanted to act on, and then we would go through it. They would have to, define what their goal was, how it would benefit the community, either their school community or the community at large. They would have to come up with an action plan and be able to show that they had steps for assessing the success of their project all the way along. And then once the review committee had looked through all of them, we accepted 4 applications. And one of those was for a aquarium area in our TIC center at the high school, and it was based on mental health and advancing science ed here in the school. We had another group of students that paired together for a project on photojournalism, which is really cool, and how they're expanding their advanced photo students now at the high school, and they wanted to take that even further into a career while they were still at the high school. And so they're learning all kinds of techniques and taking seminars, and then they're giving back to the community by bringing in their photojournalism to things that are going on in the community, as well as helping with the school newspapers and publications and things like that. And so they're being very active and proactive, and a lot of the community has reached out to them through this project, which has been kind of neat to see. And then we had 2 other projects that were approved, and we brought those with us today. So.
Well, it's a great program. A couple highlights. One is the kids have to give back, and I think that's a significant part of the innovation and creativeness of this, and that we're seeing that it's about community, but it's more than just a student growing. It's actually helping grow the community, so that's a great thing. The other thing is the mentors that come alongside. They're teachers that walk alongside that want to make sure that learning leaves the classroom and actually goes out in the community and does some other stuff. So the mentors are a big part of the journey.
Yeah, actually each student within the application process had to choose and have approved a mentor for their project. It could be an adult in the school corporation that had the same interest as them, or an adult out in the community, and we have both going on in the projects, but someone that the student felt comfortable leaning on, going to for information, asking for advice, and helping to get a clearer picture, once again, just to ensure the success of their project.
All right. Let's turn and talk to the students for just a little bit. So we'll start with Nina. You're a senior, is that right?
Yes.
Abby, are you a sophomore?
Junior.
So talk to us a little bit about what project that you have and why you decided on that project. So we'll start with Nina.
My project is the flipping of 420 West Jefferson Street. Basically, I'll be doing the blueprints for the house so that Mr. Hessman can use those to help with his workshop class to help with the renovation of it, the structural part of it.
And how did you decide to develop blueprints on a historic home?
Well, I realized that I really like architecture during my process in this high school, and whenever I drive into Franklin, I realize that some of the houses that you can tell when first built they were very nice. Now they're not as much. So I figured that would help the community, and I really like blueprints.
And what do you want to do when you graduate? Where are you
I'm
headed?
an architect.
Going to Ball
Study.
State? Or,
Yeah, Ball State.
Well, congrats. So Abby, talk a little bit about your project and how you decided to make it come alive.
Well, I'm actually going to be writing a book about Franklin called Franklin Through the Decades. Well, first, small town feel, Franklin Through the Decades, because it really is going to be an embodiment of how small towns have grown and evolved over the past few years. And eventually, if this book goes well, maybe a series of small town feel books, but that is far off in the future. Right now, I'm still in the beginning processes of getting all the interviews and the stories of people who have actually lived here their entire lives and have seen generations grow and develop with the town. So it's been really interesting to get what I've already felt among all the other people in my life.
Talk a bit about your mentor in the process. How did you select the mentor, and what have they done to come alongside to help your project come alive?
Well, I didn't select her. Melisa helped me get in contact with her and told me that she works for the Franklin Development Corporation, so she's done a lot of this before, and she has connections with just about everybody, so she could help me with Mr. Hussman, getting in contact with him, and people for the appraisal, as well as people that can help me with the blueprinting process and doing research for the history of the house. And so she was very helpful.
And who is your mentor?
Oh, Ronnie Oliver.
Ronnie
sorry.
Oliver, yes, thank you.
Ronnie
Yeah,
Oliver.
yeah. I think she knows everybody.
She does.
Probably even Santa Claus.
Most likely. But yes, she's been very helpful with
That's
the
great.
entire process.
Abby, and who did you pick?
Mrs. Hart, actually, she has a daughter also in the school system, Alex Hart, and I'm taking one of her AP classes right now, and her and I are very on the same mindset of how to organize our writing, and I feel really good whenever we talk about that stuff together. So it seemed pretty natural to just flow into having her help me develop my other aspects of writing in my life.
So obviously, as you guys put things together, you're going to need resources. So was that part of the grant, that they received resources, and how do they go about making sure that they have what they need?
Each project has $500 to go towards the resources that they would use, but then we also encourage each student to branch out in the community and find other ways to pull resources into their project besides just the funds. And each student has done a great job of doing that. I think the value of their projects is going to be well over the $500 that we've stipended them with. So then they work through their mentor, and the mentor works with our accounting department here at the school and helps budget all of that information for them.
And what's the timeline? When did you start, and when will you end?
We started probably late September, and our projects will be finished by early June, the end of the school year.
They have until August. Different projects end at different times, but
Okay.
we hope to do a presentation of all the final products in August.
What advice would you give to the students that are thinking about applying for the next cycle?
Just go for it.
Go for it. Okay.
Any idea that they have will most likely benefit the community, and if it doesn't, there's always a way to turn it to where it will. And there are no specific guidelines on what you have to do as long as it's beneficial, so whatever you want is kind of there.
That's awesome. And then when will we see applications come out again?
We will begin putting out the application in early August of next year,
Okay.
and then take another round in September, October.
And last question, these are juniors and seniors that are with us today in the studio, but can any student apply K-12, or is it limited to high school? What's the journey for the student application?
On this first year, we definitely wanted to limit the scope so that we could stick with something in a more comfortable level. And so we have it with the high school, and there was a middle school student who came already with a project that fit into the guidelines, and so we allowed that in. And so there will be conversations definitely next year about whether this is high school, middle school, but it will definitely be offered to all high school students this year.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for coming in, and I know you shared at the school board meeting a few nights ago about your projects. Great presentations by all 4 students and by Mrs. McCain, and I'm just really happy that you guys are doing this. It really brings learning alive. It takes our guiding principle of individual student growth, and this heightens the potential that it's developed and what it does for our school. So you guys are doing great things.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for watching Superintendent's Corner. Have a great day.